Hey guys, I'm Aditya Thakur and welcome to another video in our Python playlist. In this video, we'll continue with strings in Python and we'll take up substrings, a very important and a very interesting concept in Python. We'll then talk about concatenation, how to join two strings. Then we'll look at format, how to format your print statements, and last we'll see what are escape sequence and how can you uh, print certain characters in Python, and we'll do that. So let's get started. Again, before we start, Newton School is a platform which prepares you for your career in tech. It has courses designed for freshers, working professional, and also for women with no tech background. It trains you for 6 months and helps you become a full stack developer. Newton School has a network of 300 plus great companies. So after the training is done, it ensures that the students are placed in the best companies in the country. The best part is you do not have to pay anything until you are placed. It has a pay after placement program, and you don't have to pay anything until you are placed with a minimum 5 lakh CTC. So the Newton School Launchpad is an initiative taken by Newton School for people who want to start coding from scratch and want to learn the basics of different programming, and it is available absolutely for free. So this video would also be available on the Launchpad section of Newton School, and there you can find several quizzes and assignments related to this course. So let's get started with our topic for today, which is slicing strings. So what is slicing? It basically returns a range of character by using the slice syntax. So if we have a variable, we'll save certain string in it and try to slice it, only print certain characters from it. What I'll do is I'll go over to newtonschool.co, and here if you do not have an account, you can quickly go ahead and sign up. Since I do have an account already, I'll just log in. It should take some time to load. So once we are here, we'll head over to the playground. Here in the algorithm playground, you can create a new or even open an existing one. I'll just create a new. So this should take you to a screen where you have the code section. Here you can write code and give a custom input, and also get an output or an error depending on if something goes wrong. The first thing to do is we'll select our compiler. Since we have been working with Python 3, we'll go with Python 3.8.1, and let's get started with the code. So I'll create a variable. I'll call this variable, let's just say, for a variable name, we'll just take a and save my name in it. You can do this with your name, and what I'll try to do is now try to slice this variable using slicing in Python. So how this is done is basically we have our variable name, and as we have seen that variables were a sort of array, so we'll use the square brackets and then try to slice it. So let's just say 2 to 5. Now if I run this code, and we'll get ity. So how this works is we have 0 position where a is being stored, then we have d, and then I. So it starts from the number that you have mentioned here, 2, 3, 4, and ends one number less than the one you have here, so 5. As we had seen in our strings introduction to strings video, the length starts from 1. So if I were to print the length of this particular string, let's just say, so we are getting the length 13. That means it is starting from 1, and since there are 6 characters each, the total is 12, but it is also counting the space in between, so it's giving out 13. But if you have to check how each particular character is stored, then it starts from 0. In that case, A is at 0, then we have D at 1, I is at 2. So it will start with this I here, 2, 3, 4, and print 1 less than the values given to it. So we have given 5, so it will only print till 4. So that's about it. I hope this is clear. And what you can do is you can slice characters like this. So let us say I want to print THA here. So what I'll do is I'll start with 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll replace it with 7 here, and 8, 9, 10. So I'll put in 10 here because I want to print till A, which is at 9. So let's give it a run, and you will see that THA is printed to console. Now you can try out various exercises based on this, as in you can try to print a certain set of characters from your string and try out different combination. So what we have to do next is we have to, in some case, if we had to slice till the end, like I know that Thakur is at 7, I want to print the rest of it, so I can just do it like this. It should print out Thakur to the console. Why? Because if we have given the first value, that is from where it is starting, it will take, and the other part is kept empty, so it would print everything till the end. The similar is true if we know, like if we want to print out the starting part. So Thakur T was at 7, this would be at 6. If I'll put in 6 here, let's try running it, and I should have Aditya printed to console, and yeah, that's about it. So we got Aditya to print to the console. If we had kept 7 here, we would have also got the space. Like right now the space isn't there, but if we will keep 7 here, so it would also print the space. That is, now you can see the space being printed to console. So this is how you can slice from the beginning to, from the given character to the end, or from beginning to a certain character. And we can also use negative indexes. That is, we can use these negative indexes to start the slice from the end of the string. Let's try to do this. Let's put in 7 here, and let's use like 2 here. So now if I run this program, I will get THAK. So how is this working? Basically I'm doing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 is here. So it's taking up the space and going to the end, that is 0, 1, 0, 1, 2. Okay, so it is considering this K part. Let's just try it without this. If I run this now, and it is starting from the beginning and going till -2. So this is 1, 2. All right. So yeah, if you put in like since we can also print the strings from the end, as in if I put in -1 inside this square brackets, it is printing out R. So if I were supplying it values like this, what it would do is it would print everything from the beginning to the -2 character, that was U, but it would print 1 less than that, as we had talked about it. So it is printing till K. Right, I hope that makes sense. If I'll put in -5, what should be the output? Basically what we'll do is we'll start from the end. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it should include this H, but it would not include the U. So HAK should be printed to console, and yeah. So that is how you can experiment with the different values and try to print a certain characters to the string. I would highly recommend testing it out yourself. So we are done with this part, as in we saw how slicing is done. You can try out different values and variables, different combinations in it. What I want to do now is let us say I have a variable which takes in the name, and there is another variable that has the value, right? So it is having a value 1. Again, I can use, okay, let's not do this first. There is another variable, let's just call it last name, and it has Thakur in it. So what I can do is, if I were to combine these two variables as we had seen in previous videos too, I can use the plus sign to concatenate. If I'll print this now, it would print the first name and last name together. The problem was like there wasn't a space, so I will have to give it a space myself and try printing it now. So yeah, now we have the space. So this is how it's done. The plus sign concatenates the different string. It takes in the name, this empty space, and the last name, and joins them together. What we can do is we can use this empty space to add an extra space in it. Then we have the string format. Now why do we need the string format? Let us say like there was this variable called value, which instead of having a string in it stored like a integer or any numeric type value. Now if I want to combine the Aditya and name, so there is this string, let us say like name plus has score, and I want to print the value. Let us just try running this once. So you'll notice like this runs fine. Like since these were all strings, they do run fine. Now if I also want to add the value here, also print the value. If I run this now, what you'll notice is that I'll get an error which would come out under SDR error, and it would show like the type error which says key can only concatenate strings, not integer. So how do we print these integer values? Basically we can use the format. How this is done is I will save this in this string itself, like Aditya has score, and put curly brackets here. So these curly brackets would act as a placeholder, as in they would save the, here we have it. So as in these curly brackets would act as a placeholder. They would the value that we want to pass would be sent to these placeholders, and we can print it as such. As in, instead of saving is as I can use the text value, and I have the value here. So what I can do is I can use the format txt dot format and pass the value here. So let us try running this program once, and in my output I will get the statement as I wanted it to be. Aditya has score, and 1 would be printed inside in place of these placeholders. Now these curly brackets are nothing, they are just placeholders. We use the format keyword to print the given value, and we can modify it accordingly, as in this format method takes unlimited number of arguments. Like we have here, so we can save 5 as quantity to a variable. We can also have item number and price. Now I will modify my statement, as in I want, this is a placeholder, pieces of item placeholder for a dash rupees, right? So I can format these values accordingly. I can pass quantity, it would fill in quantity in the first one, item number in the second, and price in the third one. Now we can also use indexes, as in if I want to format certain values in a certain way. So now the statement is modified, as in I want to pay dash rupees, but my price is being supplied the last. So what I can do is I can give this placeholder an index value. So I have given it 2. We start with 0. So wherever 0 is there, quantity would be the first value that you supply would be sent to this placeholder. So quantity goes here, The price which is second, as in 0, 1, 2, so it will go here, and the item is the middle one, so it will go inside the one placeholder. And again, you can experiment with different values of the placeholder. We can try doing it once ourselves. So if there is a value, let us say like there is this time variable which stores the time. So Aditya has score in dash minutes, right? So now I can supply the two values and try running it once. So it would print out Aditya has score 1 in 90 minutes. Instead of formatting it like this, what if I wanted to use like Aditya in minutes has a score of, right? Okay, now the first value that should go here is minutes, and the second value should be the score. But my function or the print statement here first passes the value and then the time. So what I can do is I can use like index values to modify this. So I'll use 1 here and 0 here. So the first value that would come should go inside this 0 placeholder, and the second value should go in the 1 placeholder. So let us try running it once, and again it is printed right just as we wanted it to be. Aditya in 90 minutes has a score of 1. So that is about the format. You can try out different combinations. Then the last thing left is the escape characters. So escape characters are basically we use a backslash to insert like characters that are illegal in the string. We use an escape character is a backslash and followed by the character you want to insert. The problem was like let us say like there was this string own is a variable, and I want to type in Aditya's pencil box, right? So what you will notice is that if I try to supply a string like this, let's just use the print statement directly. We do not want to create a variable, right? So what you will see is that if I want to try to supply a string like this, I'll give it a single bracket and I want to use like Aditya's. So I want to show this ownership, but I will get an error because my string would start from here and end here itself. So this part would not be considered as part of the string, and it will throw an error. If I try running this now, I'll get an error which says invalid syntax, right? So we had seen in one of the previous videos that we can instead use like a double quote to deal with certain statements, and it should work fine. But what if we don't want to use double quotes, we just want to use single quotes, right? So what you can do is in such a case we can use the escape character, which is basically a backslash. So you can just simply put a backslash here, and you'll notice like again it would work fine, because a backslash lets you use like invalid characters. Not invalid means the characters that would throw an error or which have a different meaning than they do. So you can use, and you will notice that it runs fine. So there are a number of such characters we have in Python. So there are other escape characters as well. Like we just saw how to use a single quote. There is backslash. There is new line which can be used to go over to a new line. There is tab, there is backspace, and there are octal and hex values. So you can look up these values from the link. I'll put it in the description, which would have everything about the different escape characters. But the most common ones that we'll use is basically the single quote one if you want it. And we'll also use the new line one a lot, as in broke. So let's say like we'll use one here, and if I run this statement now, it should print out like Aditya's pencil box is broken. But I can also use the new line escape character, which is sorry. So which basically does is like you have a single print statement, but it would just everything after this n would be printed to a new line. So it basically takes the string and prints it on a new line. You can use this when you want to format your given string. So let's say like there are 4 names that I want to print to different lines. So I can use this escape character. Right, so with the single statement you will get the characters on different line. Now there is also the tab, as in you can use the tab to give like one tab of space. So like we use the tab to do indentation. You can similarly use the dash backslash t to give some space. So these are like the basic characters. We wouldn't use any of the others as such, but if you want to look up, you can search how and what is the use of these other escape characters. So yeah, that's about it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe the channel to stay updated whenever we put out the new videos, and if you haven't seen the previous video, you can check out the whole playlist, which would basically take you from no knowledge of Python to intermediate concepts. And thank you so much for watching.